But man, PainKiller, really, really fucking good. So this is a story about the creation of OxyContin, how it was distributed and sold amongst all doctors, but as well as that, how it reinvigorated the crack as well as opioid epidemic in the United States.
What were the most names?
The Sackler brothers. And these guys created Purdue Pharma. Now, they do give disclaimers at the start of each episode. So there's 6 episodes, about an hour long each, 45 minutes to an hour long each. And they tell you that, like, characters' names, locations are, like, changed as per the true story that occurred. So this follows Matthew Broderick, who was really fucking good in here, as Richard Sackler. So the guy who came up with the idea to change MS Contin to OxyContin, which is double the strength of regular morphine.
Fuck.
Yeah. Matthew Broderick kills this shit. Like, I haven't seen Broderick in so long. I swear the last time I saw him was Godzilla, but I didn't expect to catch it. But there was other shit in between.
Maybe it was. Gotcha.
But so the way he portrays Richard Sackler is that he's very he's psychopathic, sociopathic, as well as schizophrenic, because he has visions of Clark Gregg Coulson from Avengers, because he plays Arthur Sackler Sr. And he didn't make his money from being a doctor, because these guys were all immigrants that came over here in the 30s, and they made their money not as doctors, but as fucking ad agencies. You found out he was a better salesman than he was a doctor. And this guy was working in a mental ward, and they show you a fucking lobotomy in there, and it fucked me up. How they put the rod
through the eye?
Through the eye.
Through the eye, yeah.
Fucking destroyed me, eh? But this was insane. So, majority of this is recounted as per, like, Uzo Aduba from Orange is the New Black. She plays this lady named Edie Flowers, who was part of the FDA to actually investigate OxyContin, as well as all of the epidemic, basically. So prior to all of this happening, she was actually looking into dodgy doctors doing real shady shit, like putting x-rays on their bills when they haven't used their x-ray machines in fucking years. Now, Taylor Kitsch is in here as well as one of the affected people. And he was actually really decent here. I feel like it's always hit or miss with Taylor Kitsch, but this was really good. There's no real standout episodes, because all of it was a really good 6-episode story. But the shit they talk about in here, so like I mentioned, they talk about the creation of OxyContin. So their father, finally dies. Arthur Sackler Sr. passes away, and they don't know what the fuck they need to do, like, with his estate, because majority of his estate was that he owed money to everyone. Like, he didn't make any money whatsoever. So Richard Sackler, Matthew Broderick, his idea was, okay, well, we need to make something to make us some money. And that's when the idea of OxyContin came up. And so with OxyContin, it eventually gets approved and distributed. But prior to that was the coercion of FDA people to actually get them to approve this product, because whenever they looked through it, they knew that it wasn't right, because the addiction rates were insane. And as well as that, the write-ups and reports for this drug itself is the first drug to ever use the words "is believed" to have an addiction rate of less than 1%.
That's fucking wild.
Yeah, it was fucking insane. And they would send out drug representatives, which were these fucking skimpily clad women who would go out to see all the doctors and fucking coerce them into actually selling this drug and prescribing it to their patients, because they made money not only off the sale of OxyContin, but of how many milligrams they prescribed. And part of the agreement with these doctors were that if recurring customers come back and they have the same issues, they need to prescribe them a higher dose. So it starts as 40 milligrams of this shit and goes as high as 160 milligrams in each tablet. So we begin to see the effects of Oxy. So Edie Flowers randomly goes into a pharmacy this one day to do one of her routine checkups, and this guy is behind her, and he just starts getting antsy, and he fucking jumps the table looking for Oxy. Fucking manages to get out, and then weeks later, she gets a call from the morgue because now she's interested, and they do a full autopsy on this guy's stomach, and he had 6 of those fucking 160 milligram pills in his stomach. And this lady was, you think this is a lot, this is nothing. The other day I fucking cut open a crackhead's fucking stomach and there were 11 tablets in there. And that's not even the record. Somewhere in Idaho, they had 18 tablets in their stomach. Like these guys were just popping these pills as they got them. It was fucking scary. Taylor Kitsch's character, he owns just a mechanic store, and he falls onto this engine and fucking just breaks his whole back. So they prescribe him Vicodin, just regular Advil and other shit, and then the pain's still there, so his doctor prescribes him Oxy. And you see his journey from being just like a regular family man to just this guy who just needs Oxy all the time. Like, he goes from not being able to get a prescription to like buying off the streets. And they also show you how, like, there were people out there who knew Oxy was going to be a huge commodity for the black market. So they would pick up crackheads on the street, and then they would find pharmacies or doctors, where they knew they'd just give a prescription regardless and make them go in there, get the prescription, go buy the fucking Oxy, and then hand it to the driver. The driver would give them like 6 pills and then bag the rest, and they'd sell that shit.
Fucking hell.
Purdue Pharma, off the sales of OxyContin, were making $30 million a day. It was fucking insane. And the parties these guys were having because of the success of OxyContin was wild as well. So they show the Sacklers flying off to Miami with everyone. And this is during that massive court case that they have as well, because of the epidemic just fucking being reinvigorated. And you see people just fucking on the dance floor. They're all taking Oxy themselves. They've discovered you can crush it and fucking snort it. But during this whole time, with those court cases, they just pleaded ignorance. They were like, we didn't know about any of this until somewhere out south in the Bible Belt, they brought it to their attention. When they had letters from doctors saying that, hey, people are privy to snorting this, as well as that people are starting to OD in our clinics now as well.
Jesus.
There's so much shit in this show where it either broke my fucking heart or it made me so fucking angry when you were going through this. But the performances that were in play in this show, 6 episodes, fucking Uzo Aduba, sorry if I'm butchering that name as well, she fucking kills this. Her and Matthew Broderick were definitely fucking killers on this show.
Killers on the show.
But overall, like, the shit you see, as well as just overall, this was a great show. And it flies as well. We started this on Friday at like 6 p.m. and we didn't even know it was midnight and we had finished the show. Like, we were just running it up the whole time. But if you want to
watch Dope Sick now?
Yeah, I need to.
There's also a documentary on Netflix that I watched about this actual pharmacist that was going out there that did a whole lot of investigation.
Oh shit!
His son got hooked on oxys and died. OD'd.
Shit. There's at the start of every episode they have the family of the affected intro you to the episode, not telling you what happens, but just letting you know that some things are fictionalized for the show. And then they're like, but the use of my son's name, Tyler so-and-so, was used. He was 23 years old when he got addicted to Oxy and died at the age of so-and-so. Like, it's really heartbreaking to see that too, because some of these families, like, they're still whole as well. But now they've lost family and shit like that.
I had 2 of Mom's Oxys. That shit did nothing to me.
Man, maybe that's time. But this was good. Like, it's made me want to get down that sort of, not get on Oxy, but also go down that rabbit hole of fucking, like, Dope Sick and all those other shows.
Fuck that.
This is worth a watch, honestly.
I don't ever want to get addicted to anything except for my Vaporoo.
Yeah, but I like cigarettes. I do.
Hey,
I like
if cigarettes are still
cigarettes.
$8.90 a pack, I would be like hitting them up.
Oh man, straight away. I like cigarettes. I like movies.
Yeah,
These are my like two vices.
those are
Yeah,
harmless vices, though.
Harmless
100%.
to who? I can die with a cigarette.
Yeah, but you're not out there pumping crack into your, like, into your lungs.
Yeah, it's true.
You're not gambling out your whole wage and then, like, what do I do for rent?
Fuck no.
What me worry?
I never
God, if
understood
you
that.
don't fucking call up that gambling hotline.
I never understood that. Like how people could just sit there and like gamble.
Me neither.
Maybe the money will come in this time. Mate, I want a sure thing.
Yeah, that's the thing for me. Because I put $5 into into the machine. Fuck, I'm cut when I don't get it back. If I
Badly.
don't double that money in 5 minutes, fuck, I get antsy. I was like,
Also, with those Oxy reps, these guys' bonuses was like 60K, depending on their fucking like their sales for distributing Oxy to these doctors.
What the fuckers?
Some of these guys as well, like because they were majority women, they were just sleeping with the doctors to get like, them to sort of sign on to. Fuck, it was wild.
the
Also,
ultimate weapon.
fucking John Rothman is in this show as a bit part as one of the Sackler brothers.
It's John Rothman?
Fucking John Rothman, if you see his face, you'll know who he is, but he was in like a lot of older like horror movies and shit like that. He was yeah. It was cool though. It was funny to see him. He was also in Blue Bloods for a little bit, Law and Order, all that shit. But I tell you, man, Matthew Broderick really needed to do some more movies because, like, seeing him come back to this, fucking hell.
Yeah. No, he's been out of the spotlight for a little bit. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? When you were saying people was fucking on the dance floor, I was like, I hope it's not Broderick in that form.
Jesus.
Like, that was some
Expect
wild
this.
shit.
So does it show the downfall of these O's, the Sacklers?
So,
What downfall?
They still
these
pumping it.
these guys are still worth $11 billion together.
What was the payout? I think the payout was like 1.8 or 1.9 billion dollars. They could have paid that from one of their bank accounts and
Yeah.
still had billions, dog. Just didn't touch them at all.
Exactly.
That's disgusting.
So Matthew Broderick, when he's sitting down with like the fucking hallucination of Arthur Sackler Sr., after they fucking say they're gonna like give that 1.9 billion, he's like, but it's over a period of 10 years, so we don't need to give any money right now. Our investments will pay for it over that time. So essentially we pay nothing. So this guy, Richard Sackler, is still alive. He lives out in Boca Raton in a fucking modest $11 million home compared to his $30 million home. The fucking...
I'm doing a hard yakka over there, mate.
fucking right? I don't know, man. Like, to see that, like, some of the shit they did as well, like, when the lawyers came in officially to, like, subpoena, serve them, all that shit, and they were having the meeting with Purdue Pharma, he didn't even show up. Not because he wasn't able to, but because it was all by design. So he makes one of his lieutenants go in and fucking talk to these guys, and he basically just tells him, look, you say yes to whatever these lawyers ask for. And then he ran outside of the office with his dog and was just pegging the tennis ball at the fucking glass while they were in there. Like, he was doing crazy shit.
It's that I'm so rich I'm above the law type shit that gets me.
Yeah. Now, there's a monologue that Clark Gregg has in here as well when they like go back in time, and they talk and he basically explains about the definition of legacy. And this shit is fucking... It was really powerful, and this might be like Clark Gregg's near best role to date as well, because he really fucking kills it as this character. You see very little of him, but when you do, he's on like screen for a good reason, because his brother comes in and is like, I bring glad tidings, and like he's bought jewelry and shit from Tiffany's, And he shows it to Clark Gregg, and he's like, "Return it. I don't want it." And that's when this guy, his brother's son, is in there as well. And he begins to explain to the son, "Do you know what legacy is?" And he has this mad monologue about legacy and basically shits on his brother and tells him to fuck off.
Jesus.
Yeah, it was fucking crazy.
Yeah. Sounds like a must-watch show.
It was good.
It sounds like actual quality. Those 6 episodes ones are the ones to watch out for.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. The 3 and 6s, on point.
How was the representation in the?
It was good. Like I reckon they
9mm gay. Was she gay?
No, they actually don't talk about her. Like, well, I don't know. They show her playing Tomb Raider 1, like video gaming and shit like that. They don't show her with any love interest. They explain, well, not explain, but you see like her brother's actually in prison for dealing crack. And her mother was a crack fiend too. And so she has a lot of arguments with her brother and shit like that, and her sort of getting over that with the case. But they don't show her like with a love interest. I reckon they focused on Taylor Kitsch as an addict because they didn't want to show that representation of like the black community as addicts as well. But I think Oxy was a very white pill.
Oh, it was. That's why when the crack epidemic hit, it was prison for black people. And when the Oxy happened and hit the streets, it was an epidemic, and we needed to give all those little white kids help and not send them to prison.
Yeah, it's crazy. There's where Uzo Aduba does like she does her research about the numbers of like ODs and shit like that. She has the graphs and she puts like the number of overdoses as well as the number of doctors now prescribing Oxy and then something else, and then the profits of Purdue Pharma, and the scale is all in the exact same fucking place. It was crazy, man. $30 million a day. Not a week, a day. That's billions in a year.
Yeah, man. It's crazy that these, like pharma, big pharma, and like child trafficking, both make billions every year.
It is nuts.